Carpe diem, my name is Ultranatic. You're too late, I'm here already. Found my own ride. Thank you very much. Anyway, for those of you who don't know me, I primarily review animated properties, especially one-told dramas that combines my love of animation and reality shows. There's a lot more to me though, and so many are passions that I hold dear, and one of which I touch upon now and then is music. What can I say? Music is an amazing aspect of entertainment. So much emotion can come from the simplest of melodies, and adding the right kind of music can liven up even the unliveliest of parties.
Going to a party with no one still alive.
Faint choice of song for that segue. This is Dead Man's Party by Oingo Boingo. Not a personal favorite of mine, but still a classic Halloween track, along with hits like Thriller, Ghostbusters, Bad Moon Rising, Werewolves of London, and even that seriously exists. Never change, MC Hammer. But you get the idea. There are so many quintessential classic Halloween songs. And I gotta be frank, I'm getting kinda sick of them. Oh, not in the way you think. I love these songs to death. Pun intended. But they seem to be the only songs I ever hear on the radio during Halloween. This makes no sense to me, as I can think of a dozen other songs that deserve to be played around this time of year. And okay, some things I'd like to see played, like the soundtracks of Wicked and Sweeney Todd, obviously wouldn't be played because they aren't radio hits. This is not a video about Broadway songs though, it's a video about actual hit songs that I think fit the holiday, but for some reason don't seem to get played all the same. Yeah, I love songs like Ghost by Mystery Skulls and In the Dark of the Night from Anastasia, but those songs obviously wouldn't be played on the radio during Halloween because they never charted high enough to rank on the year-end list of the year they came out. You know, the Billboard Year-End Hot 100. A definitive ranking by Billboard magazine of the songs of any given year that were popular either by how often they were played or how long they remained in the public conscious. I've scoured through a list and discovered a plethora of hit songs that fit the Halloween spirit perfectly, but for some reason aren't played around that time of year, or at least not notably as Halloween hits. Well, I'm here to remedy that. Now, the rules for this list are that the song has to have actually charted and made at least one year-end list from Billboard. And hit songs that can't be included are all the ones from the 2018 compilation CD. Now that's what I call Halloween. But if it fits both those criteria, it's eligible for this list. And keep in mind, what I consider underrated or Halloween-oriented is totally subjective. If you think these songs aren't underrated at all and you hear them all the time around Halloween, or if you think they don't fit the season at all, or if you just don't like the song in general, that's totally fine. These are just my picks for the hit songs that deserve more play around the scariest time of year. So prepare for an endless slew of Todd in the Shadows references. This is a list of what I consider the top 10 underrated Halloween hit songs.
Alright, this is music.
And they say you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull a mask off an old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim.
Number 10. If you were asked what the oldest classic Halloween song is, you'd probably point to Monster Mash.
He did the Monster Mash.
After all, it was a #1 hit in October of 1962, so it has to have been, right? Well, surprisingly, despite that being when it hit #1, it never officially made a year-end list until 1973, more than a decade after it came out. Aww. With that said, there is actually a Halloween-oriented song that made one of the Billboard year-end lists well before Monster Mash did.
I just moved in my new house today. Moving was hard, but I got squared away.
Yep, there's actually a Halloween hit song that made its mark in music history by appearing on a year-end list in 1964, well before the beloved Monster Mash did.
Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?"
Obviously that's a shame, as Monster Mash is better, but this song is still pretty fun too.
Bells started ringing and chain ran loud. Knew I'd moved in a haunted house.
It's sung by rockabilly singer and songwriter Jumpin' Gene Simmons. And no, not that Gene Simmons, lead singer of Kiss. Actually, he named himself after this guy, which seems pretty touching, especially given his biggest and apparently only hit Haunted House was covered by a wide variety of artists.
I just moved in my new house today.
Heck, even this version is still a cover, but I still think it's the best version. It's about a guy moving into a haunted house, and that about covers it.
Wanna see something that give me the creep. Had one big eye and two big feet.
Yeah, the song's subject is pretty straightforward, but given how spooky it is, what with a solo saxophone and guitar strum that sounds like it could have been used in the Scooby-Doo chase scene, I'd say it fits perfectly.
Looked at me, said you better run. Don't be here when the morning comes.
So how could a song by such an influential man in the history of music not be higher on this list? Well, it would help if the song had an ending.
Say yes, I'll be here when the morning comes.
Yeah, the song is all about various monsters challenging the owner of the house, but the house owner standing up to them proud, and then it just kind of fades away with no resolution.
I bought this house and you know I'm born.
Does anything happen after the fact? The song never makes it clear. Unless the final monster who challenged the house owner ended up killing him too. That's actually kinda genius. Kudos to you, Mr. Simmons.
Say you be here when the morning comes.
Okay, I can't guarantee that's what happens here, but it still makes for a fun, enjoyable little tune. And given Jumpin' Gene Simmons died in 2006 at the age of 73, I hope to move into whatever house he's hunting now, if it means hearing more of this song.
I'll be right here and I ain't gonna run.
You don't mess around with Jim.
Number 9. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a movie with 2 killer clowns, a reptilian monster, a witch, an assassin, a man cursed by a demon, and several other wanted criminals. And it's a superhero movie. But given that description, I hope you can see the Halloween connotation, and by extension the Halloween connotation of its most popular song.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know.
This was originally going to be a tie between this song and Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of a well and taste.
At the last minute, though, I had to nix Sympathy because I discovered it never actually made a year-end list. I know that song is so popular, how could it not have made one of those? Hey, I never said the Billboard charts made sense.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name.
But it would have tied for 2 reasons. One, both were featured in the movie Suicide Squad. I've got a huge soft spot for that movie, especially because of the soundtrack, but also because both songs kinda have a similar tone and message to them as well. Sympathy for the Devil is just about the devil telling you about himself like he's a relatable person.
I was round when Jesus Christ had his moments of doubt and pain.
You know, someone you should feel sympathy for, or at the very least make you understand why he does what he does. Heathens kinda works similarly by talking about outcasted people and how everyone looks down on them.
We don't deal with outsiders very well. They say newcomers have a certain smell.
But what really propels the song forward is the downbeat, almost foreboding tone given by the instrumental.
You don't know the half of the abuse.
It really feels like you're in this prison where the music video is set. And no, not every music video set in a prison is Halloween-based, but this one is so realistic and grimy, it could very well be the setting for a Saw film.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know.
Heathen might be a term for someone who doesn't belong, but one place it definitely belongs is on my Halloween playlist.
And now they're outside ready to buzz. It looks like you might be one of us.
You don't mess around with Jim.
Number 8. This song might not make sense to be considered a Halloween song because it's set at a different time of year than Halloween, but I consider Swear Rider by the Neighborhood to be a good Christmas song despite mentioning the beaches in California, so why not give this song its Halloween just dues? Okay, full disclosure, this song is here less for the lyrics and more for the instrumental, though both are important in my argument. Starting with the instrumental, this song is allegedly a fusion of New Age, World, and Celtic music. By the way, most of what I know about this song came from the One Hit Wonderland episode of it.
Personally, I don't know very much about New Age, Celtic, world music. And no, I'm not saying that Celtic music is the same thing as world music or New Age music, so save the pedantic comments. I'm saying that Miss McKenna has been variously described as an artist in all 3 of those genres.
But I'm not just going to take Todd's thoughts on it. After all, he didn't put this song down for Halloween. So clearly I think it works for the autumn season, but others less so. But seriously, I can't be the only person who imagines autumn leaves falling to this music. Yeah, it kinda sounds like something out of Darby O'Gill and the Little People. And yes, that's a different region, but come on, work with me here. And it's not like Darby O'Gill isn't a spooky film to enjoy around Halloween as well. And Finley, as I reference a movie with a banshee sent to reap someone's soul, I feel this song's message is quite similar. Yeah, it talks a lot about springtime, which might disconnect it from the fall vibe, but I honestly interpret the lyrics as being about visiting someone at the grave in some kooky but loving tradition. Maybe I'm completely off base about this, I'm a pretty ignorant person, but that shouldn't be an excuse by itself. But my ignorance on these cultures related to this song and these genres kinda makes me enjoy it more. The haunting chants, the various rhythmic harps and flutes, even a handful of atmospheric autumn-esque lyrics. Also, to clarify, this song is actually about something aside from my interpretation. The subject of the mummer's dance is, well, a mummer, an actor in a traditional masked mime.
Anyway, a mummer is like a medieval mime. You know, they dance or pretend to sword fight. Those are mummers.
Aha, that still works for Halloween, not just because Trent from Total Drama scared of it, but so is Cindy Vortex.
Ah! What was it? Mimes? Nothing but mimes.
Yeah, I'm stretching, but this song fits just the right environment of Halloween for me, no matter how many banshees it might attract in the process. Again, different cultures, but for me, the same spirit. Pun intended.
That is scary as fuck.
You don't mess around with Jim.
Number 7. Speaking of songs covered by Tom the Shadows on One Hit Wonderland with potentially weak ties to Halloween, yeah, I'm with Tom the Shadows on this one. I count this for Halloween big time. One, because despite being one of the main themes to one of the most well-known dance films of all time, it was originally written as the theme to a horror movie.
Some reports say it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, others say it was, of course, Maniac, which would certainly make sense. And apparently the original lyrics went, "He's a maniac, that's for sure. He will kill your cat and nail it to the door." Oh man, I want to hear the original song. God, I would kill to hear it. I would kill your cat and nail it to the... Excuse me.
But ignoring that, this song has this haunting vibe to it, almost like being chased by a crazed psycho killer.
There's a cold kinetic heat, struggling, stretching for the beat, never stopping with her head against the wind.
Also, just look at this music video. Yeah, most of it's just performing, but the shots are all of her dancing, but all with a spotlight staring straight into the viewer.
She's a maniac on the floor, and she's dancing like she's never danced before.
Was sure Flashdance wasn't directed by Steven Spielberg?
Oh, I know Kubrick used it once in a while, so people will call me a genius when I use it all the time.
And of course, there's the seizure-inducing strobe lights, which if you don't want to see, go to this timestamp. Otherwise, starting that clip now.
She's a maniac on the floor, and she's dancing like she's never danced before.
You watch her, she doesn't look like she's doing this for fun. Demonic possession seems like as good as an explanation as any. It's also a good explanation for that weird part towards the end where a synth choir starts singing what I can only call evil chopsticks. And then Cimbello picks up his guitar and just shreds.
Yeah, this scene and the song accompanying it would not look out of place at all in a horror movie. And since this song is featured in a dance film but meant for a horror film, I say we take this hit dance song and turn it into a hit Halloween song. Maniac, hit song from '83. And I'll play it every year on Halloween.
dancing like she's never danced before.
You don't mess around with Jim.
Number 6. Funny how Todd called the last entry a song about demonic possession, because the next song says could be about something in the same ballpark, reviving someone's spirit. Evanescence are one of those new metal goth rock sounding bands that were huge in the early 2000s, and I've always enjoyed how over the top their delivery is, especially from this song.
Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside.
Literally, that is what this song is about, bringing a woman back from the dead, whether spiritually or physically. Of course, that's not what they specifically wrote the song about, instead about the lead singer's husband. But this song sounds more like it's about emptiness, so... That begs so many questions about their relationship in the context of this song. And speaking of questions regarding this song, did you know this got sold in Christian stores until Evanescence told them they weren't Christian music? I mean, yeah, any song about spiritual emptiness and looking for help can be considered Christian, that makes sense, but
Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark.
yeah, this song has a much darker execution than those of most Christian bands, discounting Skillet. But given how big and bombastic the song is and its shadowy, pleading demeanor, I feel it works great for my updated Halloween playlist. And all its pleas of being brought back to life will be answered swiftly.
You don't mess around with Jim.
Number 5. Well, at least the next song won't be so over the top and controversial. What do we have to work with?
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive. Just like animals, animals like animals more.
Oh, brother, I have a lot to cover with this one. First off, on the controversy part, as the music video for this song about a guy stalking an ex and literally hanging around a slaughterhouse, which should be the first indicator of why I associate this song with Halloween, was criticized for dehumanizing women and glamorizing violence.
Hunt you down, eat you alive. Just like animals, animals.
Well, I won't act like they're wrong, but so do the Transformers movies, and they make money, so duh, of course it was successful.
So what you trying to do to me? It's like we can't stop, we're enemies.
But more controversial than the content of the song is the fact that I actually put it on this list. I mean, who in this day and age would actually admit to liking Maroon 5? Not me, I despise this band. Although I didn't used to. I used to think they had this really cool sound of their instrumentals, and they even had a soft spot for the squeaky polishing sound of Adam Levine's voice.
Got you stuck on my body like a tattoo.
They had some slip-ups here and there, but it wasn't until maybe 2015 where they drastically declined in quality. Fitting, because this song ended up at number 46 on that year-end list, so debatably, this was the last year I found them any enjoyable. But even with reviewers like Tom the Shadows putting it on their worst hit songs of 2014 list, I actually quite like this song. A song about animalistic tendencies during stupidly aggressive sex.
I love your lies, I'll eat 'em up, but don't deny the animal that comes alive when I'm inside of you.
It's like the musical version of that sex scene from Breaking Dawn Part 1, except maybe even sillier, which is saying a lot. But this song goes towards more than just making love like gorillas or sparkling vampires. I think it's about Adam Levine actually turning into a werewolf. The number one indicator of that being...
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight.
Oh my god. Did that just happen? That was amazing. Wow. Wow. God bless you, Maroon 5. Most of the songs on this list just pissed me off, but Animals Moles is the funniest piece of hilarious garbage of the year.
Yeah, even Tom the Shadows thought that was hilarious. Would anyone be surprised if I told him that this song was my alarm clock? Because I said it as one, no joke.
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive.
Well, whether you like this song or the video associated with it or not, we can't deny that even if Adam Levine makes a crummy singer, he makes one hell of a Taylor Lautner, abs and everything.
East and side. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You don't mess around with Jim.
Number 4. Well, Got that sound out of the way. Unless we have another over-the-top edgy song with a lot of screaming at to end up being on one of Thomas Show's worst of lists. Wow, to quote this next song, I'm on fire! Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the song that Todd has undoubtedly gotten the most flack for ever putting on a worst list. Even he recognizes this.
I have never, ever gotten as much backlash as I did that one time that I said I didn't like one Fall Out Boy song. With the disclaimer beforehand that I actually like Fall Out Boy.
I personally believe that he's entitled to his opinion. There are better songs that have received more hate from critics. But I am one of the big fans of this song, despite not knowing a lot about Fall Out Boy.
She wants to dance like Uma Thurman, bury me till I confess.
I do know this much, they're such an egotistical band, they don't even make songs about anything tangible. It's just nonsensical phrases to make themselves sound cool. And you can't really connect them despite people's futile attempts to try. And Hypocrite here is gonna try in this entry.
Got the scars from tomorrow, and I wish you could see that you're the antidote to everything except for me.
Yeah, I think this song is mostly rock star swagger with a Halloween edge to it. Not just for how it sets a tense and threatening mood, but because it has strange similarities to Animals. Or maybe Animals has strange similarities to it, but you get where I'm going with this.
Maybe you think that you can hide, I can smell yourself from miles.
Animals is literally about a stalker with werewolf implications, and this song is about a stalker with vampiric implications. Seriously, think about it.
I'm in the deep, deep tears with the no more the world can ever give me on my own. I just gotta get you out the cage. I'm a young lover's rage, gonna need a spark to ignite.
Well, if not a vampire, then the sexy version of some demonic creature at least. You know what? That works for me, especially because this song rocks all the same.
Constellation of tears on your lashes. Everything you love, then burn the ashes.
I'll forgive Thomas Show's for placing it on his list of the top 10 worst hit songs of 2013, but all other critics, if you place this song on a worst list yourselves, don't be surprised if you get this reception.
You don't mess around with Jim.
Number 3. Well, now that I've got those out of the way, let's get to a song that I think makes an easier argument for Halloween inclusion. This song is definitely debatable in the not played around Halloween instance. I personally don't hear it much around this holiday, nor was it on that Now CD, so I consider it fair game.
She's just a devil woman with evil on her mind. Beware the devil woman, she's gonna get you from behind.
Especially since this song might figuratively be about warning others of a horrible ex-girlfriend, but is literally about a man who's been cursed and seeks help from a gypsy for it to be lifted.
So I came into you, sweet lady, answering your mystical call.
Although, twist ending, the gypsy he seeks help from is the reason for the curse in the first place.
I drank the potion she offered me. I found myself on the floor. Then I looked in those big green eyes, and I wonder what I came there for.
Except this isn't a twist ending at all, it's revealed pretty much in the first verse.
Same cat with them evil eyes, and I knew it was a spell she cast.
Interesting strategy, but Cliff Richards cleverly makes this song more detailed with mentions of a black cat, potions, and a crystal ball.
I've had nothing but bad luck since the day I saw the cat at my door. Crystal ball on the table, showing the future, the past.
And the blend of electric guitar and electric piano definitely set this song on a darker but enjoyably catchy light.
She's gonna get you from behind.
I do find it amazing that such a classic song isn't played more where I live. But maybe that's the curse the gypsy set on the singer in the end, of which I humbly request the gypsy to lift for everybody.
Just a devil woman with evil on her mind.
You don't mess around with Jim.
Number 2. In regards to that Now CD I was referencing, since it is an update of an earlier album with fewer tracks, the number 1 song the most surprises included in the update compilation is this.
What's wrong with me?
How that song isn't on this album, I don't know.
It's like the darkness is the light. I'm scaring you.
And given my criteria, I'm not sure I should include this song on this list. I mean, I love this song, and it's undeniably Halloween-oriented, due to the dark and twisted lyrics and the dark and twisted video.
No more gas in the red, can't even get it started. Nothing heard, nothing said, can't even speak about it.
But this is another example of a song that has been known as having relevance during the scariest time of year, so calling it an underrated Halloween hit song might be a bit of a stretch. But my rules did state the song had to just not be on that Now CD, and it doesn't appear anywhere on it, so it's still eligible.
Painted pictures on the wall, it's like they talking to me. Disconnected, no call. The phone don't even ring.
But intriguingly, it's here not because the lyrics are so grim, but for the reason the lyrics are so grim. They're allegedly an allegory for greed and becoming a part of the Hollywood system, which... honestly, Hollywood is more dark than this most of the time.
It's a thief in the night to come and grab you. It can creep up inside you and consume you.
But there's an even darker undertone than you might think to this song if you look into its history. Because as great a performer and singer as Rihanna is on it, this song wasn't originally hers. So who was it originally written for? No, I'm not kidding. This dark, twisted song about wanting to be released from a dark and isolated state was originally written for and by one of the most despicable domestic abusers of all time. And when you equate these lyrics to the most infamous incident in both these artists' careers...
release me from this curse I'm in, trying to maintain that I'm struggling.
Whew. And I thought Animals was controversial, but at least that was intentional. I'll give Chris Brown this might be one of the best songs he's ever been a part of on a production level. But if you listen to the demo where he sings on it...
it's like the darkness is light.
it's not bad, but it's not as good as Rihanna. He actually ended up trading this song for a different one to be used on his re-release of his album Exclusive. Oh, and what song did he go with instead? With You, Take You Down, Kiss Kiss. Whoa! A good judgment call by Chris Brown, sacrificing a good song to an even better artist for a song that is the go-to example for showing even he can make good music? Are we sure Freaky Friday didn't take place 10 years earlier? Because the only way these choices are being made is if someone else took over Chris Brown's body. And yet, somehow this song, with as dark and uncomfortable a history as its content, isn't at the #1 spot on this list. Maybe we're all like Rihanna in this song.
Going insane, yeah.
And the #1 underrated Halloween hit song is... ladies and gentlemen, there's no excuse for this one. Seriously, how is this song not played more around Halloween? I can think of no reason that it shouldn't be. If you look at its lyrics, its acclaim, execution, its title, I've seen countless lists online that don't mention this song anywhere as a classic Halloween hit song. So I submit for your approval, the #1 underrated Halloween hit song is...
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
What dimension are you even in?
Yes, Twilight Zone, named after the classic sci-fi horror psychological thriller series. Although I will point out this song was actually inspired by a different thriller, the novel of the Bourne Identity. And while those details are definitely in the lyrics, the delivery of them is so chilling and paranoid, more than Rockwell ever projected. Hey, Heck, this song feels less like a representation of the novel, although admittedly I haven't read it, nor seen the movie, and instead feels like an action-packed version of a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, there's a storm on the loose, sirens in my head, wrapped up in silence, all circuits are dead. Cannot decode, my whole life spins into a frenzy.
Being alone in an area except being surrounded by enemies and everything spiraling into confusion and chaos? That's the actual physical plot of some Twilight Zone episodes, like the monsters do on Maple Street. A neighborhood cut off from power, falling into paranoia and accusing everyone around them of being against them. That fits the criteria perfectly! And ignoring all of that, is anyone listening to how suspenseful the instrumental is? Now listen to it in comparison to a tiny cardboard piano being played by Sean P. Wolf of Diamond Dash Studios. Excellent work, Sean. That's how amazing this song is. If you can play this song on toy instruments and it still gives a sense of dread with a badass edge to it, then no more needs to be said about this song's relevance to the scariest time of the year. And that's why I declared Twilight Zone by Going Earring to be the #1 best underrated Halloween hit song. And that was my top 10 underrated Halloween hit songs. I hope you enjoyed it as well as the rest of October I've given you, and it's a shame it has to end all over again. But the ending of one thing can always lead to the beginning of another, or, in this case, the continuation of another. Back to Total Drama Reviews. Yes, we're right back in business with the next episode about... Go ahead, what's the next genre gonna be? Well, I know that's in the title of the show, but we're talking dramatic comedy, dramatic horror, just drama. I expect more imagination from a show that gave me clips like this.
I'm liking the twos today. Must be Tuesday.
Maybe I shouldn't be expecting much at all.
Here in the twilight.